Hey guys, Angry Beast here bringing you some Dragunov gameplay on the map WMD. Got the variable zoom on, that's how I would definitely recommend using it. And in this game, it's a pretty slow-paced game, I'm not going to lie. I go something like 18-6, but it's pretty nice KD using a weapon that you don't see too often. I mean, it's the worst sniper rifle in the game in many opinion, and in mine too. I mean, it just doesn't stack up to weapons like the WA-2000 or the L96, so you know, it has its drawbacks, most noticeably of which is its recoil. You're not going to hit anything with its crazy recoil. It's very difficult. You have to line up your shots very, very carefully. And if you miss one, you basically have to wait for the recoil to completely resettle itself, or else you're not going to hit anything with this weapon. Now, one of the things that I think Black Ops did wrong was recoil. Hear me out here, but one thing that's really plagued Black Ops for me recently is the fact that there aren't too many players online, and we combine that with the fact that guns have a lot of recoil in this game. What ends up happening is the lag, when you combine it with the recoil, makes 90% of your shots miss. And it just, at least where I live, there aren't too many people playing, so I seem to miss a lot more shots than I usually would, simply because the recoil, when you combine that with the lag that is induced by having a very few people playing, it just ends up being to the point where I can't hit much. One thing I think Modern Warfare 3 has done pretty well is balancing the recoil between weapons. Yes, you have weapons like the MP7 and ACR, which have very low recoil, but those have very major drawbacks. The MP7 has very bad damage at range, and it has a lot of sway. The ACR has slower movement speed than most assault rifles by, I believe, 5%. And it has a very low rate of fire for an assault rifle. So I think Modern Warfare 3 did a pretty good job on gun balance. But, you know, in the end, it comes down to personal preference. But anyways, in this game, I am using the variable zoom scope, and when I'm using a sniper, generally speaking, I think that's the best scope to use. ACOG has its use, but it's very few and far between. But if you can use the ACOG scope very effectively with this weapon, you can actually do pretty well. I mean, it acts more like a battle rifle than a sniper rifle in this game. Another thing that Black Ops did wrong was wall penetration. It took 5 bullets on target through a wall to kill that guy, and that's a little bit ridiculous. It should never take that many bullets to kill a guy through a wall with a gun that does 70 base damage. But in the end, though, there isn't too much you can do, and even with Hardened Pro, it only really would have reduced the number of bullets to kill by 1 or 2, because Hardened doesn't do much in this game. It just doesn't seem to do much for me. I am using Scout Pro in this, and that's definitely what I recommend if you're doing a Scout Sniper role like this. Because when you do use Scout, you can pick up weapons really fast, and that comes into play later on here. Pick up an M16 and finish out this kill streak pretty much with it. And if you notice, what I did there is I swapped my pistol because I knew I had time to right there. You're more effective with your pistol in close range by far when using a weapon like the Dragunov. It's just a simple fact that the pistol has more close range firepower than the Dragunov itself. While the Dragunov has the highest rate of fire of all the snipers, it really doesn't say much, and even with its high rate of fire, it's nothing compared to the RSASS of Modern Warfare 3 or the Barrett 50 cal Modern Warfare 2. So in close range, you're going to be pretty much helpless with this thing, unless you are using the ACOG sight, and even then, you need 2 shots to kill with it most of the time. One thing, though, that the Dragunov does have for it, and if you're not using the variable zoom, this is how I'd use it, is if you silence it in this game, you don't lose any of your one-hit kill range. As far as I know, you don't lose anything when you silence it, which is really good. In Modern Warfare 3, however, when you silence the Dragunov, you can't one-hit kill anywhere, which is very unfortunate, but there isn't too much you can do about it. One thing, though, the Black Ops has right, though, is the sniper rifles. And in a lot of ways, I think they did that really well. They balanced the fact that the sniper rifles have really, really high power. Actually, wait a minute. With the silencer, I believe you lose a little bit of one-hit kill to the upper chest. Sorry. But one thing that Black Ops did right was the snipers. All of them have a purpose. The PSG-1 is a high damage, high rate of fire sniper, but it has a lot of recoil, so it's a lot like the Barrett 50 cal. The L96 is the only bolt action, but it has the highest one-hit kill margin of any sniper in Call of Duty, except for the M40 with ACOG. And then you have the WA-2000, which has really low recoil and a lower zoom level, which gives it a unique advantage in close quarters gunfights. And then you have the Dragunov, which is a useless piece of crap. But overall, though, the Black Ops is a more sniper-friendly game, in my opinion, than Modern Warfare 3. Yes, the snipers are easier to use in Modern Warfare 3. There's no doubting that. But the fact that Black Ops is a slower-paced game means you can be more effective with the sniper, I believe, than you can in Modern Warfare 3. But in the end, though, they can be used in Modern Warfare 3 pretty effectively if you know how to shoot them right. And it just comes down to Modern Warfare 3 is a very, very close range based game, and Black Ops is a very long range based game. One thing I like to see in Black Ops 2 is a very good balance between the two. There's yet to be a Call of Duty since Call of Duty World at War that really balances between the close and long range games. They're either one's really overpowered and the other one's really weak, or vice versa. I mean, it just really isn't balanced between them. And Modern Warfare 2 is a very close range based game. Yes, you could use some longer range weapons like the FAMAS and the M16, but you wouldn't be as effective as you could do with an MP5K or UMP. The UMP was the most used weapon in that game, and it just ends up being that the long range battles in that game were very few and far between. You could rush, and you could be very, very successful. Just like in Modern Warfare 3, if you rushed, you could win. I know, of course, the one-man army noobs kind of messed that up a little bit, made people play a little bit more defensive. But overall, I'd say that game was more rush-friendly than camp-friendly. This game is the exact opposite, though, which means that I can't rush that well with a submachine gun in this game. A 4-hit kill with a submachine gun when I only have 20 bullets in the magazine is a little bit ridiculous. Maybe if they made it like the MP7 where it has a 40-round magazine instead of a 20, a 4-hit kill wouldn't be too big of a deal. But still, 4 hits with a submachine gun up close when I can use a FAMAS, which fires at the same fire rate, and it's a 3-hit kill up close, and it has pretty good long-range damage, I don't see the reason to. But, yeah, I picked up my SR here, and I called that in. And I'm not going to lie, I use the M16 quite a bit in this gameplay, simply because the Dragunov is pretty worthless. It's best used as a situational secondary weapon, which is how I'd recommend using it. I mean, you're not going to be that effective rushing with it, because you can't. It's got such a low close range rate of fire that it just doesn't mean anything. Now, the one thing, though, that I would caution when using the Dragunov is not to overshoot it. While it does have the fastest fire rate of all the snipers, it has the second highest recoil behind the PSG-1, and that means you have to really pick your shots with it. Don't shoot at a target you don't think you can get a headshot on. That's my number one recommendation, especially if they're at a longer range, because the farther away you go, the more recoil you get. If you're shooting a close-up target like it was right there, it's not too big of a deal to just spam your shots. But when you're shooting at a longer range target, there really isn't too much else you can do. But this gameplay is starting to wind down here, and the number one thing you can take away from the Dragunov is just don't use it. But if you want to challenge yourself, definitely try slapping on the variable zoom scope, and using it as a defensive weapon is my recommended way of doing it. If you want to use an offensive sniper rifle, use the PSG or the L96. They're much better suited to that. But anyways, guys, the gameplay is winding down. It ends up being 18-6 with the Dragunov. Not too bad of a score, not the best, but I'm Angry Beast, and I'm signing out, and I will catch you guys in my next video.